released in South Africa about a month ago, and we're at the launch. We've already got on test this new facelifted Citroen C3. You can see the very different face to it already. The Citroen chevrons in the center of the bonnet over here. The nice low, look at the split grille with, of course, the bar over here with the number plate split over there, so the lower piece over here. You've got, look at these LED headlights, LED daytime running lights above over there. And on, of course, the upper shine models, you've got fog lights with, of course, the typical Citroen touch, little white surround around the fog lights. All neat, quirky little touches. Something else that Citroen pointed out at the launch is you'll notice the bonnet is very square. Not like many cars where it slopes right down in the front. And that is to give the driver great vision and to be able to see the extremes of the car and to actually see what he's doing very carefully at all times. Come around to the side and you'll see in typical small hatch stroke crossover fashion. Look at the cladding around the wheels over here, around the wheel arches. Of course, extends across the bottom of the whole car. It's little items like that in the modern world, the crossover type world we live in, and things you get like that. Then, of course, you come back over here. Notice the indicators in the outside mirrors over here. Those are the indicator repeaters, and come down, of course. And we've got the famous Citroen Airbumps. You see the bumps across the side over here, and one of them, again, with, of course, the white surround. Just typically Citroen. Citroen, quirky, unusual, different. On again, on the top shine models, the contrasting black roof with our white car. It looks really nice. That modern trend today with the contrasting roofs, and they do it here again on this one over here. Maybe a little detail, but look over here on the C-pillar. Little white strip over there as well, echoing those white accents that you get all over the car and all around the car. It's all the little touches. Nice 16-inch mag wheels over there. You see the dual color mags that have become so popular. Michelin tires on them as well, being French. Of course, you would expect those. You come around to the rear, very neat. Nice large tail lights over there, and pop open the boot. And you'll see it's about 250 liters of boot space in this format. Can drop the rear seats 2/3, 1/3. This is all what you would expect on any car in this category. So it is definitely competitive. And well done, a full-size spare wheel over here. Definitely something else that is good to see on any modern car these days. Close the boot over here. And you'll notice you do get rear park distance control, for example. And just all the items you would expect on a little car like this. Even, of course, your little spoiler effect above the rear hatch with the high level braking light over there. That's all those. Let's jump inside and have a look, and we'll check it out a lot more carefully and just go through a few more details. What has stood out throughout this test and shown itself very clearly is the fact that this is a really smooth running little car, littleish car, but really it belies itself with how smooth it is and how smoothly it runs, and it certainly handles nicely. It is a fairly tall stance, so no, it's not a car you're going to throw through every corner that comes along. I don't think that's what matters. It's smooth, it's comfortable, and certainly I think fills the role of a B segment hatch exceptionally well. Just, it's different, isn't it? And I like different, so that would make the difference to me. Jumping inside, and let's start off by looking at the dashboard. It's obviously a very interesting dash, the 3 different dials over there, all quirky little points over here. I want to show you quickly. The overall consumption for the test was about 7 liters per 100, but I took it on a nice freeway cruise, and you can see I got 6.2 over there. So I would say all drivers can expect anywhere between 6.2 and 7 liters per 100, just to give you a good idea of where you stand with this car. You've obviously got your trip computer and sound functions over there. You've got all your sound, etc. over here. So these are all very standard. Nice little quirky Citroen steering wheel, and you'll see the little area over here where it shows you just unusual flat bottom steering wheel. Just showing you that quickly while we're about it. And then very hidden behind the steering wheel, and I say very hidden, I'm showing it from a strange angle, but that stalk over there is your cruise control as well. That is fitted to, of course, these top shine models. Come across to the center of the car over here. You've got your nice 8-inch touchscreen over there, and you can see, of course, it's got all the functions you would probably want from it. Navigation would require you to use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, one of those two. But again, I don't think that's a terrible hardship, but you've got everything else you want. Interestingly, your controls for your aircon, which is a climate control system, are actually over here. You can't change the aircon temperature or fan speed anywhere else, so you've got to go to the screen for that. Not quite sure if I'm that happy with that. I find that can be a touch distracting. Interesting, if you have a look above the screen over here, you'll notice again the square. Those little squares like you saw so many outside, the color-coded squares. Look over here, the air vents are the same square effect across the dash. And then, of course, you've got this high gloss over here above in front of the passenger. And it looks soft touch, but it's not soft touch on the dash. But certainly beautifully molded, looks good. You've got the trim to it. It does look pretty premium for this category of car. Something else that's interesting while the camera goes down to the doors is, I think, come to this side rather, and you'll see on the door you've got the bump effect, just like you've got on the outside of the car, the air bumps. Quite unusual, just completely different. And below, you haven't got the normal handle to open and close the door. Look at this, you've got the leather strap. Just so typically Citroen, typically French, got to be différent, as I think they'd call it. Coming back over here, let's just take a look. I didn't show you just now. The Shine model comes standard with a 6-speed automatic gearbox. It's your standard torque converter gearbox, but it's smooth, it's comfortable, it operates nicely. Coming just over here, you'll see the shift patterns, one of those more old-fashioned type shift patterns, the jagged one. There is a manual mode if you really want. You can go into an override, and next to it, I haven't even used, but there is even a sport button. Yeah, sport button, believe it or not. Just above it, you've got a 12-volt socket and a USB over there. So you've got all the things that you want. Look at the neat stitching over the gear gaiter over there. What I haven't mentioned to you is the engine on this car. Well, there are two versions of the C3, the Feel and the Shine. This is the Shine, standard in both 1.2-litre 3-cylinder engine. It's obviously familiar from the Peugeot Citroen Group Stellantis today. We know the engine very well. But what they've done is, in the manual, which is a 5-speed, there's no turbo. So it puts out 70 kilowatts and about 106 Newton meters of torque. A couple of people have said, But in the auto version, they add the turbo, you up it to 81 kilowatts and 205 Newton meters of torque. And that talks, doesn't it? This is a peppy, nice car. It goes really well if that's what you're looking for. It's certainly got some get up and go and a bit of oomph, and maybe that reflected in my fuel consumption figure as well. You also get lots of features. I showed you cruise control, for example, with memory. It's got all those sort of features. It's got 6 airbags, important to remember. And also, it's got what Citroen call the comfort seats. So the seats I'm sitting in, you'll see there's a bit of side bolster over here for the driver and the passenger. And they've got extra thick layers of foam on the seats to make them that much more comfortable. Certainly does work. You can see in the back as well, you've got contrasting stitching, yellow stitching over there, things like that on the back seats. You've got Isofix, got all of these features. They're all there. Let's talk price. Well, as we're in at the moment, the Shine model is 324,900 Rand. You can get into the manual, the Feel version, at 270,000 Rand. Those are the two prices. Very, very competitive in this small hatchback market we're in right now. So it is an interesting one. You also do get a 3-year, 60,000 kilometer service plan thrown into the deal as well. Citroen has always been the brand that stands for being different. And this new C3 certainly continues that tradition. So if you're the kind of person who doesn't want the mundane, doesn't want what everyone else wants to drive, then a Citroen C3 is a car you should go and look at. It's got the engine and the gearbox and the drivetrain, platform, etc. from the massive Stellantis group. So it's not as if it's such a niche anymore. It's a niche, but it's not a niche. Can I put it that way? Check it out for yourself. For Motor Matters, I'm Eleanor. See you next time.